Hey guys, welcome back to Shop Foreman Garage. Today we are working on this 2024 EV6. That stands for electronical vehicle. And yeah, I don't think we've ever had an EV6 on the channel. This vehicle is brand and new. It has 4,642 miles on it, and the customer's complaining that it won't take a charge. It has about 20% charge in it, and it won't take a charge. From a level 1, level 2, level 3 charger, it will not take a charge, and it's already been diagnosed. So this vehicle is your standard 160 kilowatt rear wheel drive. It's a 2-wheel drive. It's the cheaper version as compared to what is a 75 kilowatt front and 160 kilowatt rear all-wheel drive, as compared to the 160 watt front and 270 kilowatt rear, which would be the GT flavor, which those GTs they can be pretty awesome. Matter of fact, the GT version actually has a drift mode in it, so where it takes all of the power of the batteries, instead of splitting it 160 kilowatt front, 270 kilowatt rear, it will actually put all the power to the rear, and you can go drifting. You take the traction control off. Anyway, this is your regular version, and it has already been diagnosed. It was diagnosed, well, it has a code P0AA600 set for EV battery voltage system isolation fault. And what happens is all these systems, these high voltage systems, they have an isolation, or they have a harness or wire, I don't know what you call it, like a sensor, you know, that goes through the entire thing, and it can tell if something is shorting out, something's shorting out, shorting the ground or something like that. And because of that, it will set that code. If it sees that there's something shorting or whatever, it isolates the system, and it won't do anything. It won't charge, it won't do anything. Turns out, and I had to actually contact TechLine in this case, because in order to get into the diagnostics wanted me to drop the entire battery assembly, battery pack and everything, and check for isolation faults in the entire wiring harness in the battery pack, you know, besides everything else. And this one only has a rear motor. It doesn't have a front motor because it's rear wheel drive only. And TechLine showed me a way that I can isolate the front to the rear and just diagnose the side that I need to, which in this case, thankfully, it was just front, and narrowed it down to the AC compressor. Yeah, the AC compressor is a high voltage compressor. It has its own inverter, and we are going to be replacing the AC compressor and the inverter. I've already taken the Freon out of it. I did that yesterday. It has YF 1234 YF refrigerant. I pulled that out already because it takes forever for that machine to work, and I just had time at the end of the day yesterday to get that out of there. So we're going to get into this thing. We're going to isolate the battery pack so we can render this thing safe and get in there and pull the compressor out and replace the compressor and inverter. They come in 2 pieces. This piece right here is just the inverter. So I need to put the inverter onto the compressor and then get it in there, do an evac and recharge and stuff, and then hopefully it fixes it. I hope so, because, you know, I've been back and forth with TechLine, and, you know, this is what we found. So I hope that this gets to it. I mean, if it doesn't, then, you know, who knows what. Oh no. All right, the first thing I'm going to do is pop this frunk. That's right. It's not a hood. It's not a trunk, it's the front trunk called the frunk. And this stuff I've already disconnected so I can pull it out. I'll set this on the ground and I'll show you what we're looking at. So this is the compressor right here. So it's pretty much wide open. There's not much in here at all because it's the rear wheel drive flavor, so there's no motor or anything up here. Just AC compressor, AC stuff. It has a heat pump. Yeah, that's how one of the ways that it heats up, you know, in the wintertime. It uses a compressor in reverse, a heat pump, just like a heat pump that you have, you know, connected to your house or something. And so it just reverses flow, and that's just one of the ways that it uses a heater. But anyway, AC compressor, that's what we're doing. We need to disconnect the battery. Let's see. I need to disconnect the high voltage system, and then I am going to wait and then disconnect the high voltage battery. And I've done some work on EVs before, and there was a particular video I did a while back. I think it was a 2023 Nero EV that wouldn't charge, and at the beginning of that video I went through all of the safety features and everything that a technician needs to go through to make sure he's safe and everybody around him safe. So if you want to check out that video, we'll put a link right up here. You can go check it out. So I'm going to quickly go through all this and disconnect the high voltage battery from the system so we can get in here and start taking this thing apart. So let's do that now. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is disconnect this negative battery terminal on this auxiliary battery is what they call it. And I might as well just pull them all off of there. This right here is for isolating the high voltage battery system. So I just pull this up. It doesn't come out or anything, just comes up just like that. So y'all can see this. I just pull it out, pull it up, and it disconnects it. So now we want to wait 5-10 minutes or so, however many minutes you think you should wait till you feel safe. And then we're going to go in there and we're going to disconnect the high voltage battery. So I don't know if you can see it, way back in there is the high voltage battery pack. It's underneath the floor of the vehicle. So we need to get it up in the air. I'm gonna have to pull engine undercover, or engine, yeah, it doesn't have an engine. I need to pull the undercover off and get to that connector so I can disconnect it, and then we are going to check with a voltmeter and make absolutely sure. Honestly, so that's the proper way. So I can get in there, take that connector off to the battery pack down there, check for voltage, or this cable comes all the way up here. See these two cables? Disconnect it here and make sure I don't have any voltage. If I ain't got any voltage on this cable, then I definitely ain't got any voltage in here. So I think that's probably what I'm gonna do, because that's easier, and I don't even have to put the thing on the lift. So let's wait the allotted amount of time, and I will pull that cable off and check it for voltage. So let's do that. Okay, I am going to get in here. I got my gloves on. Going to attempt to see if I can take this thing off. Man, it is raining like cats and dogs out there right now. Oh, I need that. I can't grab this thing with these gloves. I need to lift it out of there. Okay. Take this off. I better turn this on. Regular DC voltage is what we're looking for, and it needs to have less than 30 volts. Less than 30 volts is good. Anything more than 30 volts and there's a problem with the system, and we got power bleeding in everywhere. Let's see if I can do this without knocking the camera down, because we are just barely hanging on the edge here. So I'm going to stick that in there as far as I can. Try and do this with one hand. I am not getting anything. Nothing at all, which is good. Take it off, stick it back, and I'm just barely touching, I don't know if y'all can even see this, I'm just barely touching the metal part inside that connector. I'm sticking both these in there. I get 0 volts. I'm also going to test it to ground, which is the top of this case. So I got 0 volts there. Let's move it over. Check it to ground. I got 0 volts, so I have exercised the demons. We're safe. So I'm gonna go ahead and start taking this thing off, and let's get this compressor out of here. All right, hopefully you guys can hear me, because it is raining like really hard out there. It's really loud in here. And hopefully I can, there's not much light in here. My lights keep falling everywhere. So situation normal. So because that cable hooks to the battery pack, if there's no power there, there ain't any power here. And any capacitors that are in it have been discharged because we waited. Well, it's been probably 15 minutes for me that we waited. So everything is should be good and safe. You know, the only, if I die, if you don't see this video, then I died, okay? So just let you know, if you don't see the video, I died from electrocution. This system was discharged yesterday, the AC system. It is 1234YF, which is a pain in the butt, actually. There's a possibility there could be some residual pressure in here because it's been sitting overnight and hasn't been opened since it was discharged. So let's see, let's find out. If we spray Freon everywhere, cover your eyes. I mean, you know, just in case. Yeah, there's like hardly anything. So that's good. So one way 1234YF is the pressures change. Most refrigerant pressures change depending on temperature. YF is a little bit more pickier, I guess. Pickiest than others. There's not much of this compressor. I got a bolt, a nut here, and then I got one back there. It's a 12 millimeter. Set those up there. I got one back there that I can't get to. Let me get a extension. See if I can get it from here. Well, it kind of worked. It works. Okay. Let's get this compressor out of here. That easy. It's the easiest compressor to replace. Now we got to deal with this inverter. So let's get over to the workbench and we'll start messing with that. This is the compressor. Let's get this box open without destroying the box because the part has to go back. We have a gasket gasket that goes with the inverter, special bolts, and this is special thermal heat grease. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we're gonna end up having 2 of these packs because we're getting an inverter and a compressor. And here's the compressor. Cut this open. Ain't she a beaut? So that's what it looks like from the front. This is where your inverter is going to bolt on right there. Okay, let me get the inverter. Let's open this one up. It's like Christmas Day, opening up presents. So here's the other pack. And of course the gasket is bent, but you know, they don't care. And it's the same thing, so we got 2 of them. So we only need 1. You never know when you're gonna, you know, just decide, hey, I want to take the inverter off and put it back on. You never know. It's good to have extras. So here is the inverter. Danger inverter. Yeah, it's got all these capacitors and stuff. So we're gonna marry these 2 together. And what I need to do is get one of these packets. And get this stuff right here. They give you just enough. All we're going to do is we're just going to smear this around, make sure we don't have any contamination. We definitely don't want to get any contamination on these terminals or anything. For sure, you don't want to get grease on these terminals, but we need to get grease. It's like a heat sink. So if you've ever installed a heat sink, replaced a heat sink, it uses this thermal grease that goes in between it. Like if you are, I don't know, building a computer, putting a new CPU, a lot of those have heat sinks. You got to use this thermal grease. So they tell you to do this in a clean room. Yeah, clean room. I don't know where the clean room is around here. I don't think it is at this facility. So, but I am, let me see. I'm going to get a glove. I'm gonna put a glove on. This is clean, just to make sure that I can smear it around without touching it with my hand. Take this stuff off of here. And I'm just going to do that. That's the whole amount. I'm just gonna smear this stuff around evenly. Try not to get it on stuff I'm not supposed to. Just on this flat area right here. It's just gonna squish in between the inverter and the compressor. Just want to try and make sure that it's as even. I mean, if you can imagine, you start tightening that thing down, it's gonna spread its own self out. So, and that's it. That's the only surface. Oops, it's the only surface that is going to be touching. These right here will go into that slot right there. And of course, you know, we got these connectors right here and there. So let me get this off. The gasket. Yeah, we need to get this gasket in. This gasket is going to sit right there. There is a dowel pin right there and there. Keep it in place. Going to stick this on. I want to do it so I can see it. I'm going to get that dowel pin into this right here. Making it harder than it really needs to be. So I'll get the dowel pin right there. Bring this thing around. Make sure it's straight. Come on. I'm just trying to look in there. Well, I ain't working. Oh, there it is. That's it. Yep. Push that on. I would set this up, but it's got this thing on the back. So other compressors I've done didn't have a thing on the back, so you could just set them up real easily. Get these new bolts in. These look like 8mm. Are they? We're gonna find out. Boy, I tell you what, it is nice and humid now, for sure. Now that it's rain, it is a rainy season. And I'm just going to tighten these things down. Good enough. I'm not going to overdo it. And there it is. That's pretty easy. There's our compressor and our inverter. Ready to put those in. We need to check the oil. Okay, so what I'm going to do is get these covers off. Careful, may have some pressure. No, not much. So it's probably shipped with no oil. Turn this over just to see if I get any oil out. There's a little bit. So I'm not going to dump it all out now that I made a mess. There is something that I definitely want to show you though. Okay, if you look inside here, and I don't know if you can see this, hopefully you can. You see inside that hole there, you see those electrical windings? There's a bunch of them in there. They're all throughout. So that refrigerant runs through that. So like I had said, this is a high voltage system. So high voltage electricity is what operates this compressor. So because of that, and any EV, any hybrid vehicle that uses a high voltage compressor, which most of them do nowadays, you want to make sure you use the correct type of refrigerant oil. So this right here, and of course this says 134A, but the main thing right there is it says PAG oil. So PAG oil is not good for high voltage systems. You can't use it. Matter of fact, you cause problems. You put this stuff in there, it can cause electrical short, and you have the same problem that we got right now. You have to use this. It's a POE oil, special oil for hybrids and EVs and stuff like that. Because, and this says 134, but I've seen PAG oils where they say you can use it on 134 or 1234YF. This is the YF that we're using. That's just a type of refrigerant. But you can't use PAG oil on a high voltage system. It has to be POE oil. Otherwise it will cause a short and you will have problems. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put some in here. I'm not even going to measure it. It had oil in it. I dumped it out just to check to make sure it had oil. So I'm just going to put some oil in that to replace the oil that I accidentally dumped out. And about that much, like that. Good enough. It will work. Works for us. So now we need to get this in the vehicle. So before we put that one in, I want to take this one out, or take this one apart. So I got to take it apart anyway so that I can send it back, and just so we can look at it and say, yeah, yep, we looked at it. Then I'm going to go ahead and take it apart and look at it, and then we'll get to the other one. Ooh, I saw something. Saw something that I don't like. Check this out. Okay, it smells burnt. It actually does. It actually smells burnt. So look at this. I don't know if you can even see that from where you're standing. This right here, see that? That's water. That's not oil, that's water. It came out of this thing when I opened it up. Water came out of it. So I don't know if it got on the inside or what, where it was, but as soon as I opened it up, this water came out of this nasty orange water. So anyway, that's what it looks like. It's got the grease on it. Not supposed to touch this, but this is going back, you know. So this is the old one, and it, yeah, it smells burnt. Wow. So hopefully that's it, and you know, we're fixing this thing. So let's get the other one in. Okay, high voltage compressor going in. That was easy. I mean, super easy. Get these nuts on here. Get the AC hoses hooked up, get everything hooked back up. We need to get the 1234YF AC machine over here. Get a pull in a vacuum. It's gonna take like an hour for that machine. It's just a slow machine. And I don't think it has to do with the machine as much as it has to do with the type of Freon. I think every YF machine is slow. It's just the Freon. And I'm not going to replace these seals. This is a brand new vehicle. I don't think that there's should be any problem with reusing those seals. And besides, parts department didn't give me any new seals, because you know that's the way they roll. The rebels. No seals for you. Tighten up these lines. What is that, a 10 millimeter? What happened to my 10 millimeter? Oh, it's right in front of me. 10 millimeter. Plug this stuff back in. This high voltage cable right here. Make sure that's in all the way. Plug that in. Plug this in. Plug everything in. And I got this one right here coming from the high voltage battery. And of course it's not coming directly from the battery, it's coming from the power relay assembly, which is turned off which disconnects the high voltage battery. So now I need to get the AC machine over here, but we're gonna go ahead and plug all this stuff in. I push this thing down to connect the high voltage battery, get the auxiliary battery plugged in. I don't see any smoke or smell any smoke or anything burning or anything like that. Everything looks good. Hopefully this fixes it. So I am gonna go ahead and get the AC machine, hook that up, and in an hour we'll put Freon in it. So I'm gonna do that right now. Okay, this is our YF machine. It's Male. That's at least, you know, that's the way I pronounce it. Male. I called the company once and they pronounced it a different way and I can't remember what it is, so I just call it Male. It's a Male Arctic Pro. It's the Arctic Pro ACX $22.99. So our 1, 2, 3, 4 YF. So one thing we're gonna have to do is we need to flush these lines. These lines right here. We need to flush them because YF refrigerant or whatever isn't used just on hybrids and EVs. It's pretty much used on most all vehicles nowadays. They're transitioning from 134A to 1234 YF. So we have both machines. This is warranty, so I'm gonna have to stick this into the data link connector and get the information off it. Or actually, I can just put the VIN in and I get to put my RO number and all that stuff. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna set this up. Okay, so we're gonna go into manual. I figure I might as well show you since I got to do it. And so it's asking for the VIN, right? So I can manually type it in, which isn't really good with this stupid keyboard on this thing, or I can pull it with a VCI. This is the VCI. Let's go plug it in. Hooking up the VCI right here. It's in. Turn the key on. Hopefully nothing blows up. I don't see anything burning yet. Okay, so pull via VIN. Connect OBD 2 port. I already did that. There's one thing about this machine is you don't want to do stuff before it tells you to do it, because sometimes you can cause yourself to have all kinds of other issues, like pulling a vacuum for 15 minutes and then deciding to charge it, and then it decides that it's got to pull a vacuum for 15 minutes before it charges. Even though you've already pulled vacuum on it, then it's just going to do it again. So you pull vacuum for 15 minutes and you're done. It's like, okay, let's charge it up. You go to charge it, it's like, okay, let's charge it, but we're going to pull vacuum first. Wait, there's already a vacuum. It doesn't care. It's just a waste of time. So you definitely want to make sure that you do it first. So it's got the VIN, it says turn the ignition off. Reach in here, turn this off. Then I can hit OK. Is it a heat pump or without heat pump? Well, this one has a heat pump. Charge amount 20. Okay, so it's saying that the charge amount is 850 grams. That's what it says. We got 750 plus or minus 25 grams. So that would be 775 grams altogether. This thing is saying 850 grams. I don't know why. So I'm just gonna hit OK because you know, that's just the way it is. It's warranty. I gotta do what the thing says. 20085. I gotta put the RO number in. 20085. Done. Done. I am not doing a recovery, so I'm gonna turn that off. we're gonna do vacuum, of course, and I'm gonna charge, but I'm changing this from 850 to 700, and so it's got that stupid scrolling thing. I mean, come on, just let me push a button. Why do I have to scroll? Why does it have to be such a pain? Okay, so that was 750 plus 25, that's 775. That's what I got. I'm gonna do the full thing. We live in Texas. Okay, I know I'm gonna have to flush this thing, you know, but I'm not doing anything yet. I'm gonna hit the start button right here. It hasn't told me to hook up the lines or anything. I hit the start button. Now it's asking me, PAG oil or POE? Well, we're going with POE because this is a high voltage compressor and it's a EV. So I'm gonna hit that, and it says right there, oil flush routine must be performed. Continue. Yeah, we know we need to do the flush. So I'm gonna hook up the low pressure and the high pressure couplers to their support connectors and open the couplers and continue. So what this does, let's see if I can show this to you. I know this is exciting, right? So these are the connectors, and back here in the back of the port, I'm gonna hook these up. Let's see if I can do it with one hand, because usually I can't. Just try one at a time. Okay, that's one. I'm gonna open it. This is the flushing port. I'm just trying to, okay. Open that. That's there. Move back around here. It is done. Hit the thing, and it's going to start adding Freon to the lines, and it's going to start pushing Freon back and forth and back and forth, and it's going to flush out those lines. It's going to flush them out. So what it's doing is it's making sure that there's no PAG oil in it, because the last vehicle that this was used on probably had PAG oil. It wasn't an EV. I'm not going to take a chance anyway. So it's going to flush out those lines with Freon, and it's going to recover all the Freon out of it, so there aren't any, so that there's no PAG oil in the lines. It does have an oil separator, and where is it? Oh, here it is. So yeah, I know you can't see, there's a little bit of oil in the bottom. So it does have the oil separator, and it gets rid of all your old oil and stuff like that. So it also dries the Freon and stuff. It's a recycle machine, recycle Freon. So right now it's got pressure, what, about 95 PSI on the low side. Same thing on the high side. It's jumping up to almost 100 PSI. So it's going to start pushing Freon back and forth, and it's going to flush all that out. And this takes a while. See, we're at 1%, right? So it takes a while. And then once we're done with that, then I will hook it up to the system, and it's going to go ahead and pull a vacuum on the system for 15 minutes. It's going to wait. It's going to make sure that it's not leaking vacuum, and then it will charge up the Freon. It takes forever. So let this machine do its job, and then we will be back. And I mean, honestly, I could have probably taken it right now without even putting Freon in it, and hook it up to the charger and see if it takes a charge, because that's the whole idea. It wasn't the compressor, our AC system, not working. So it's weird that the inverter, it smells burnt. Compressor was working, AC was working fine. It just wouldn't charge because it sees a fault in the system. It just shuts her down, just shut her all down. We're not going to do anything because it does not trust itself, which is a good thing, because, you know, if it's shorting out, you know, you don't want it to, you know, cause a fire or something, you know. So let's let this thing do its job, and whenever I get Freon in it, I'll bring you back. All right, I got everything in here. Everything's all done. I got these caps to put back on. I got the Freon in it. Everything went good. I went ahead and I charged the of course I charged the AC system. I checked the codes, and it had no codes, which is a good thing, because before you couldn't clear the code. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this cover back on. By the way, if you see this, that's not refrigerant oil. That's water as coming from the roof up there, leaking in. It's raining. It's raining pretty good out there. Anyway, I'm gonna get this cover on. I'm just going to assume that everything's gonna be good. So put this cover on here. And I think there is a connect. Yep, there's a connector because we got a little light in here. So I got the 10mm bolts. And then we will hook it up to the charger and make sure that it charges. So that's the entire purpose of the vehicle being in here. I know it's a brand new vehicle, 4,000 miles. It's ridiculous that that compressor went out, but you saw the water inside that inverter. That was weird. That's just, I've never seen that before. And that inverter definitely smelled like it was burnt. Electronical fire. This thing is dripping on my back. That's just water. So let's see what it does. Okay, let's turn this thing on. It's the first time I've turned it on. I mean, I had the key on. So I don't know if you can see that. 16% charge, that's all it has. 16% charge. When it came in, it had 20%. Let's hit auto AC. Let's use some power. See if the AC kicks on. And it would have a message up here saying that there's a problem with the system. I don't see any message coming up. The air's coming out. Feels nice and cool. So that's great. Let me turn this off. And I accidentally turned the radio on. Okay, so it's one thing that I want to talk about, since, you know, we have an EV6 here, and I don't know when the next time we're going to have an EV6 on the channel. I mean, it's a full electronical vehicle, right? So I want to talk about the secret code to the EV6 GT. The GT is the one with the front and rear wheel drive, all-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, whatever they want to call it. You can put it into what you call drift mode. Yes, this is something that Kia did. And I'll show you how to do it. Now, I've never done this. This is how they say to do it. Of course, this one won't go into drift mode because this is not a GT. But the way that you do it is you have the key on, you hit the traction control. So the traction control button's right here. If you hit traction control, then what it does is it says control limited. Traction stability control limited is what it says. I hit it again and it turns it back on. Hit it again, stability control limited. So what you have to do with Kias is if you want to turn off traction control, don't just hit the button, because you hit the button it goes to limited. So what you have to do, let me turn it back on. I'm going to turn it off. What I'm going to do is I'm going to push the button, I'm going to hold it, and it goes from traction control stability limited to control disabled. Disabled is what you need to do to actually turn the traction control off. And with the GTs, if you want to put them in drift mode, you do that, and then these paddle shifters right here, you hold both of the paddle shifters at the same time for a few seconds, and there will actually be a light on the dash that says drift mode. And what that does is that puts most of the power to the rear wheels, and you can go drifting around corners and stuff like that. Now, you know, if you own one of those GT EV6s, check it out if that's what you want to do. If you want to check it out, I mean, it will smoke the rear tires. If you don't own one, don't do it. So I'm telling you right now, don't do it. You know, especially if you work in a Kia dealership. Don't go getting one of those cars off the lot and do that to it and go drive it. Don't do it. I'm telling you right now. Disclaimer. Do not do that. I am telling you not to do that. I've never done it before. And I have heard many horror stories of technicians and porters putting GTs into drift mode and wrecking the cars. Brand new EV6 GT wrecked because the porter decided to put it in the drift mode. These cars are not cheap either. So I'm just telling you, don't do it. If you own one of these vehicles, that's how you do it. You want to take it out of drift mode, it's pretty much the same thing. You hold the traction control button down and until it disables the traction control, because it'll say it disabled again, and then you hold the paddle shifters until that drift mode light turns off. So let's get this thing out here and let's place them with some electricity in the rain. Let's do that. Okay, let's hook up the charger out here in the rain. Right here is the charge port. I'm just gonna push it. Opens right up. Grab the electricity, plug it in. You can see it only has one line. So now it's starting to charge. So what it would do is it would charge for, well, it wouldn't charge at all, but it would sit there for probably about, I don't know, no longer than 20 seconds, and it wouldn't charge. It would stop. Everything would just stop. It would just shut down, and it set that code. And so that's what it was doing. I could see that it's charging right now. See what happens if we come in here, if we can tell anything. So it shows 16%. It's going to take 11 hours and 10 minutes to go to 100%. Now right there you can just see it just went to 17%. So it's charging. That's it. That fixed it. AC compressor just shut her down. So that's the way it is. If the systems cannot trust itself, which is basically what was going on here, it can't trust itself to know what's going on. It's not going to charge. It doesn't want to do anything that's going to cause any issues, like, you know, if it's got a short or something like that. You don't want some wires burning up and causing a fire or something like that. So anytime that there's anything with these systems, it just won't charge. So this customer is going to be really happy. She was been waiting for a while, and we had to get authorization. Even after Techline said replace the compressor and replace the inverter, we still had to get authorization from our district parts and service manager to do it. So I don't know why. It's ridiculous. It needs it. It's a brand new car. You know, what else are you going to do? You know, buy the vehicle back from the customer? Anyway. That is pretty much it for this week. I know a short video this week, but my content is just getting, I'm just don't have the content. It's raining in here. So hopefully next week we will be looking at going back and working on that AUX7. So I should have parts in for that. I thank you for sticking around. I appreciate the heck out of each and every one of you. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.